This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is graciously brought to you by BattleGrip.com by Philip Reed, who runs or is the CEO of Steve Jackson Games. He has been doing BattleGrip.com for 9 years. So celebrate with him. They bring you all the great articles, old ads and whatnot from your childhood, the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I really like this site. It's my new favorite website, besides my own, of course, but I really like it. It reminds me of a show I just recently watched on Kickstarter. Actually, I would have probably never got into it if it had not been for BattleGrip.com, but it's the toys that make us. I watched an episode on how He-Man, the toys of my youth, were created and how they made a show out of the toys. It was really thought-provoking and intriguing. They do cuss a little bit, but it is a great thing to show you how He-Man came to be and how they went by the wayside as well. I hope you'll check out BattleGrip.com, and here's to the last 9 years and on with the next 9 years. Thanks a lot for everything you do for us, Philip Reed, and you all go ahead and get geeky with us.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Welcome to Sherwood Forest. It's a place of mystery and excitement. Band together to oppose the forces of the Sheriff and Prince John in England during the Third Crusade. Create your characters to do what's best for England and King Richard by protecting his interests at home.
Sound familiar to you guys? It didn't to me neither, but this is the story of Sherwood, The Legend of Robin Hood, 2E for Savage Worlds, a new game on Kickstarter that's just about wrapping up by Battlefield Press, and we're lucky enough to have on with us tonight Jonathon Thompson, who is the creator and the mastermind behind it. Is that correct, Jonathan? Is that how you fit in?
I created it, yes. Also, I share credit with Will Upchurch, who helped do some of the background material.
Okay, well, thanks for coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. We really appreciate it.
Not a problem. Happy to be here.
And I guess we should go ahead and tell people. I think you're our first repeat offender, as we've never had the same guest on twice. Other than we almost had Mark McKinnon of Wreck and Ruin fame on twice, but that not really, because we just had to record the audio twice as my audio crapped out on me. So yeah, but you're the first one to be on twice. So welcome back.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed the last time I was here. I like listening to the show.
Well, there you go. We appreciate it. And anybody who wants to listen, we really appreciate it. And we're glad to have you back. So let's rewind back a little bit. They probably, if somebody's listened to that previous episode, maybe they remember or whatnot. But how did you get into role-playing games, just as a refresher?
Well, I kind of was actually telling the story last night. It was kind of funny. I've always been an avid reader, and my elementary school had a lot of books, and I'd gone through about half of them, and I was turning the corner, and they had this huge conference table in the middle of the library, and there were 3 or 4 guys playing D&D, so I sat down and watched them play. I did it the next day. After a couple of days of doing this, I finally go, "Do you want to play?" I said, "Yep." So they made me a character, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah, as you say that, now I remember. It comes back really clearly, because I remember the story when you were talking about it before. Cool. And I forget, I don't know if you told us, but what was your initial character? What kind of character were you?
I don't remember his name, but I remember clearly that it was a druid. I also found out probably 6 months or 8 months later that we'd actually been playing it wrong. But, as they say, there's no real wrong way to have fun.
There you go. Yeah, they said, what is it? Mike, I forget his last name, but he's of one of the podcasts I listen to, and now I can't even think of the name of it. But they say if you're having fun, you're doing it right, or somewhere around those lines.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. It doesn't matter what the rule book says. If you're having fun with a group of people that you're hanging out with, then it's right.
There you go. Did you guys figure out what you were doing wrong and fix it though?
Yeah, they I misunderstood the rule about how many spells could be cast in a day by a character, and they believed it was how many spells they got. So and they could cast them infinitely, and somebody just misread something in the book, and this is first edition D&D, so there are a lot of things that are easily to misunderstand, but still, it's a fun game no matter what you do with it.
Yeah. So you followed it along the way? Are you playing, what edition are they on now today?
That group, I have no idea.
Or of D&D in general?
Oh, indeed, they're on 5th edition now.
Are you still playing D&D or?
I'm still playing D&D. Christmas Day, I ran a basic game. I have a regular 2nd edition game going. I have a regular Pathfinder 3rd edition game going, and I have a semi-regular 5th edition game going, along with some others.
So you play all of them?
And I run them all, yeah.
Oh, wow. Do you ever get to play, or you're always the DM or the GM or whatever they call them?
My son set up a new group with some friends, and they've been playing, and last night they invited me to play. I think I got invited to play because I have experience playing more than anything else. And as I went through the group, they're going, well, they're having fun. If they just wouldn't, talk over each other, I think they'd have more fun. But I had a lot of fun, so it was good.
Is it D&D as well?
Well, it's Pathfinder, but same difference, really.
And it looks like you have a new setting, I guess you would call it, on Kickstarter. I guess it's almost over, but what can you tell us about Sherwood, The Legend of Robin Hood 2, the 2nd edition, I guess it is?
Yes, it's 2nd edition of the game. We did another 1st edition 2010, I think, for Savage Worlds. It was actually our first Savage Worlds setting. I have learned a lot about the game and design and stuff as I've gone, and there was just some stuff that, while the 1st edition was great and the people who worked on it were awesome, there's some stuff that I just wanted to do with it now that I was comfortable working in the system that I just wanted to change. And we changed it, and it is closer to my original vision. And, we just keep going. So we added some edges, created some things where we, made sure that people understood that it could be played in both what I call historical and legendary. Historical is, as you would expect, there's no magic, no spell casting, no magic items. There's, it's just you're playing a historical game, and then you've got the option to also play it as a fantasy type, game. The inspiration between the two were, it's kind of the historical is closer to the BBC series Robin Hood that they did just recently. I'll say recently, but probably a few years ago. And the legendary version, I kind of equate to Robin of Sherwood that the BBC did in the 80s.
Interesting. I haven't seen neither of those. Are they pretty good?
I enjoy them, but I'm a big Robin Hood aficionado, so I have everything from books to movies to TV series, anything that was done. I've got a series done in the 50s with Richard Green, ran 4 seasons. And so, one of my favorite Robin Hood movies is Robin and Marian with Sean Connery playing Robin Hood.
There you go. My son, Snack Leaf, he'll a lot of times go in and watch the same clips of Disney's Robin Hood quite a few times in a row.
Oh, and I love that one too.
Yeah, I think they did a good job. So what's different? So you added some different edges and whatnot. You said it's a lot closer to what your initial goal or dream was with the Robin Hood book. What all has changed, do you think, compared to when you look at the 1st edition and now the 2nd edition? What all will be changed?
We revised how our skills work. We revised a lot of the edges and hindrances, and we added some new ones, like I said, that are in line with the period. We have included things like archetypes for novice people, novice archetypes for a quick play. So if you've never played Sherwood or never played Savage Wars before and you want this to be your starting, you can open up the beginning and there's a set of archetypes and you just pick a character, basically like a character type you want to play, and you go, and they're not in totally filled for you. They're mostly done, and they give you options so that you can still make the character your own.
So if somebody backs this and gets the game, do they still have to buy I imagine they still have to buy the Savage Worlds book. Is that correct?
That is correct. But they have Pinnacle has a really good promo set called the Test Drive Rules on their website, and that is free. The PDF is free. Also, the printed book is only $10, and it's a really good system for a really good price. And you don't even have to. I may be talking people out of buying a setting, but you don't even have to have a setting. You can just think whatever you want, and most of it can be played right out of the core book. And for $10 for years of play, that's not bad. So if you want something more specific, like our book, you can add another $10 or $15, depending whether you want the PDF only or you want the print. And so you've got an initial layout of pay $25 for 2 books that will last you for the rest of your life.
Well, that's pretty good. So is this project complete in its entirety, or you still got a little bit more to work on?
It is complete except for some editing. I need to go through it and clean it up. It was something I was going to do over the Christmas season, but we had a disaster in our house. We flooded, so I kind of had to push things back a little bit. But by the time the Kickstarter funds and everything clear, probably within a couple weeks after that, I'll have a working copy ready. It's what I call an alpha copy. It's all the text of the material with some editing that still may need to be done, but it'll go out to all the backers so they have a game to play before we send it to layout. And when it gets to layout and editing goes to layout and gets finalized, we send it back to them. They get the update and everything. So that way they have something to play while they're waiting on us to get the game laid out and out the door, which has a release date of somewhere around Gen Con. Maybe during Gen Con, maybe a little before, maybe a little after, but August is our set release date for this version.
Okay, and so, but in the meantime, they'll get the PDF, it sounds like. Is that how it works?
Well, they'll get a PDF that is just raw text. I mean, it'll have notes. You'll see the editing notes and everything in it, or layout notes, but it is basically raw text, but all the rules will be there. That way, they have something they can play immediately. It'll be unique to them. They're the only ones that are going to get it. I'm not going to sell the beta or anything. When the PDF comes live, they'll get the update first from the PDF, and we'll send it to printing.
Well, that's pretty good then. So you don't have to wait. I know with all these board games and different things that we back, you have to wait quite a ways, and then by the end you forget about the game, and then it's a surprise that it comes in the mail. But this way they'll be able to play before they actually get it. So that's cool.
And that's what I say about Kickstarters and pre-orders, that by the time I get it, I've forgotten that I've backed it or ordered it, and so it's like Christmas every day of the year around here.
Pretty much, yeah. So what kind of projects do you just back? Role-playing games, or what kind of projects do you back, Jonathan?
I back mostly role-playing games, but I've done a couple of board games. I'm a huge dinosaur aficionado, and so games about dinosaurs I'll back. I've backed playing cards. I like dinosaur playing cards. I've backed card games. I've backed 2, actual, the non-collectible card games. One is it's called Orc Office Party, which was kind of fun, and the other one is Ninja High School card game, which we're still waiting on that one. But they told us that there was a problem with their printing, so they've got to fix it and send it back. So but it'll be there.
Yeah, didn't you do a Ninja High School setting or something, if I recall?
I did Ninja High School role-playing game. My friend Ben created the setting. He was doing all the art. He did all the art for us. He did all the art for the card game, and he's doing reprints or omnibuses of his old issues. Trying to cover 30 years worth of stuff, and and it's actually pretty nice, and I like it. And I mean, Ninja High School for me has been a real blast to play and to run, and everybody who's played it, has expressed interest in purchasing it. So I'm thinking I'm doing pretty good with that one.
So the card game by Battlefield Press, or is that by somebody else?
That's by somebody else. We didn't even know it. I didn't know it existed until Ben launched the Kickstarter for it. I'm going, oh hey, card game. And then there was a one of the reward levels was, a deck signed by Ben. I'm going, I'm just going to get the regular deck and then go to his house and say, here, sign this.
There you go. That's cheaper, huh?
I mean, he doesn't live but about 2 or 3 hours from me, so.
There you go. So it'd be a little bit cheaper for you. That's good. Cool. And so I know people had wanted to know what people have learned over Kickstarter and whatnot. I know a while back ago you did something, one of Robert Cash's novels, you guys were trying to get that. What did you guys do different compared to that Kickstarter as opposed to this one? I know this one is just about, you're almost reaching your funding goal. There's only a couple days left by the time they hear this episode, but...
Yeah, it didn't go over like I had planned, and I don't know what it is. I'm sure I still believe in it. I think it's a good game. We're going to launch it again come probably June. We're going to that Kickstarter again. I'm actually writing a short one sheet adventure setting in in Robert Asprin in the Cold Cash Wars setting that I'm going to give away as part of the Kickstarter, so people can kind of see some previews of what is going to be in the book. I'm going to, they're going to be pre-generated characters from the book, and a scenario for you to use, and you can sit down and play it, and you could just use the scenario with the existing Savage Worlds rule book, and hopefully that will. People can visualize what I've visualized in the, for doing the book.
Okay, I want to say, if I recall correctly, there wasn't anything you had to wait for the estate, wait for it to fund before anything could be written, if I recall, in that one previously.
And that's still true. We can't do, well, I can write the material, which I've got a lot of it started.
Okay.
Mostly out of, me going, oh, this is neat, I want to do this. But I can't actually publish any of it until we get the Kickstarter to fund. It also prevents us from, it didn't prevent it, but I'm reluctant to buy art for a project in advance of it, in case it doesn't fund, and then I have a whole bunch of art for a project that I can't actually use.
There you go. You can hang it up in your house, I guess.
Yeah, and the artist I've picked is really good, and so his work is worth it. It's just a matter of going, no, I'd really like to put this in a book, let everybody see this work rather than just hanging up in my house.
Yeah, they have to come visit you.
Yeah, they have to come visit me.
There you go. Cool. So what did you guys do different? I know you said this one's about 90% complete. Do you think that's the big difference, or the funding goal? I don't remember what you're trying to go for funding goal, or what's the big difference between the two, do you think?
Well, this one, the funding goal is lower because we released it before, and so a lot of stuff has been paid for already.
Okay.
And so we could go for a lower goal to just cover the minimum that we used during this period.
Okay, that makes sense. And that makes sense. So, per se, somebody's fallen asleep at the wheel or whatnot, and they're suddenly jolted awake, and it wouldn't be because you or your game or whatnot, or hearing you again. They've heard me probably over 100 times as they've listened to all the episodes and whatnot. But now you have their full attention. Why should they back Sherwood, the Legend of Robin Hood, 2nd edition, Savage Worlds, here on Kickstarter with the remaining day or two that's left on it?
Well, it is a really fun game set during the period. The fact that you can switch between historical and fantasy, I think, is a big selling point. I have a master's degree in history, and I love historical games, but not everybody I play with loves games that are purely historical. So I added material so that those people could play, and I can run a semi-historical game where they have some magic. There's a lot of cool things from the Middle Ages, from this period. Things like you could hunt for Spear of Destiny, or Robin Hood and Legend has some magical items. And they may be included in this. They may be something that we add later, because I still have a couple little tweaks I might want to do. Robin was listed as a Crusader Knight. There are plenty of opportunities to play characters that are wandering around the Middle East. Season of the Witch, the movie with Nicolas Cage and Ron Perlman, that would be a great backdrop for this kind of game. I mean, there's really no shortage of the kind of adventures you can do with this.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So you get to be Robin Hood and stuff, and you're going and you stealing the money back to give to the poor, or not? Or
You can. The stats for Robin and his merry men are included in the book, so that you can actually pick up and say, okay, well, I want to play Robin, and have Robin Hood stats right there, and hand out the rest of your friends. You can go, okay, well, you're Little John, you can be Maid Mary, and you can be Alan Adele, and you can just sit there and your GM can run a game for Robin Hood. You can be robbing tax collectors and handing it back to the farmers, or you could be going into a tournament for a golden arrow and hoping that you're not captured or discovered. So I mean, anything is possible. I had ran an adventure with it in the first edition called what we called the Table, and it was based off of an episode of the old Robin of Sherwood series. And Robin and his men are being chased by the sheriff, and they take refuge in a castle that nobody realized was there. And it's a small castle, nothing that you would think you could see from the highway. It was like deep in the woods, and it turns out that the castle had a ghost, and the ghost had charged them with guarding the castle. And so they couldn't let the sheriff's men in. They had to keep them out. And at the end, the reason they had to guard the castle, so because in the center hall, in the main hall, was a large round table, and it was Arthur's round table. So, and it kind of linked it back there to had to protect it to keep England safe.
Okay, well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it sounds like a fun adventure and whatnot. And yeah, it looks like they're pretty close to you guys are pretty close to your goal. At the time of this recording, you have what? Let's see here, 450, so 450 some odd dollars, $454 or something to go.
Yeah, $454 to go. Ends on the 4th, which is what, Thursday?
Thursday, so yeah, you'll have a couple days, 3 days or so.
Yeah, so it's noon. Yeah, noon Central Time on Thursday is our deadline, and I would really like to see it fun, because this is such a fun setting. I mean, this is the 4th system that we've had it released in. 5th if you count the original D20 version. But we have a version already out right now for Pathfinder, for D&D 5th edition, and for Swords and Wizardry.
Yeah, I saw that. You can scroll down on the page, and it says add-ons. You can get it for different systems as well.
Right.
Well, that's pretty cool. You're delivering through drive-through?
We're delivering through drive-through, both the printed and the PDF. And what happens if you back the PDF, you get the PDF as a download code, like you would purchase anything, through drive-through. If you order the print, what you get is a print code done the same way, where we send you a code, and then you order it at cost, whatever the exact cost is of print, and you pay for shipping from there. And in the end, that still brings you to less than what we're going to charge retail for the book.
So that's awesome. Now, I know you said you listened to some of the podcasts previously, so you're probably hopefully anticipate what's coming next. It's Adventures in Application Acquisition. I forget what application you used last time, but is there a different application we could talk about that you use, whether it be for cell phones or tablets or computer or video games that we could talk about?
Yeah, there's one I use. Let me pull it up.
Okay, thank you.
Called Fight Club 5.
What can you tell us about Fight Club 5?
It is basically the 5th edition SRD in an app on your phone, so you can quickly look up things in case you don't happen to have a book with you, or you're in a hurry. You're in combat against a giant, and you need to know what cleave does, and so you just look it up.
What do you like about if you own the rights to it? What would you do? What would be one thing you would do to change it?
I know the interface is not as expandable as I like. I think I would make it where people could add their custom stuff, their whatever they do for their homebrew settings. But beyond that, it works, as advertised. You can even make a character on the app.
Cool. So it sounds like they're doing a pretty good job. So that's good. And minus coming there to your hometown to stalk you in person, how would people go about finding out about you or what you guys have going on over at Battlefield Press?
Basically, do a Google search for Battlefield Press. I mean, I'm involved in a lot of things. Our website really needs to be updated. We just, I've gotten to where it's either I have time to play with the website or create new content, and I would much prefer to create new content for people to play in. And I know websites are important in this day and age, but if I have, just to choose one, I would rather be creating new stuff for people to play with.
There you go. That's pretty good. Yeah. So they can have more adventures and whatnot, because they'll just go to your website to buy new games and stuff, but then it sounds like the games will last a lot longer than they might visit your website for.
Right, and you can buy our stuff through your local game store. You just ask them to order it from the distributor. You can also buy it through Drive-Thru RPG, and you can go direct to our distributor, Studio 2, and buy our stuff directly from them as well.
Oh, okay. So yeah, and we'll make sure we leave all the links you give us and whatnot. We'll make sure we leave them in the show notes so people can look back, and make sure you go ahead and click on the link so you can check out the Kickstarter and whatnot. And it looks like you were with us about we've got 100 episodes, so about 70 episodes ago you were with us on episode 30. I looked back and saw that's when we talked about the cold cash war back in September.
Huh. Wow, there's a lot of episodes.
Yeah, that's why they fell asleep, but now they're up, so hopefully they'll go ahead and click on that and we can get this game funded, I really hope.
I hope so too, and I appreciate you having me on the show.
No problem. We're glad to have you back. Anytime, well, I shouldn't say that, but anytime somebody can come back, that's a great thing, but I guess you're the first one, so you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief, our first returning guest, Mr. Jonathon M. Thompson. He'll be a legend, I guess. Go down as a legend.
I don't know about legend, but
There you go. Well, you're famous now, at least on the podcast, maybe. But yeah, I don't want to keep you all night, but we really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief with us tonight, Jonathon.
Well, thank you, and I hope you have a great night.
You too, and a happy New Year. But I guess it'll be New Year's already been, Monday. So it'll be a new year. It'll be 2018 by the time people hear this, but hopefully you and all the guests all the people listening have a happy New Year.
Well, thank you, and you too.
Thank you, sir. You guessed it. It's time for Kickstarter Corner. And this week on Kickstarter Corner, it's none other than me. Yes, Game Relief. So the games that we're talking about this week are Dwarf's Winter, a hand-building, worker placement, resource management game with tower defense elements for 1 to 4 players. And we will actually have the designer, well, not the designer, but the publisher of this game. We talked to him, and you get to hear him next time on Wednesday. So make sure you listen up to that episode. They really overfunded. They were done with their goal within 12 hours. I want to say less than 12 hours. But they're over double. They're at $34,967 out of $15,000 goal. There's 15 days to back. Well, 14 or so when you hear this. So check them out on the Kickstarter. They go till Monday, January 15th. Check them out on the Kickstarter. It looks like a really fun game, and it sounds pretty cool. Listen to our interview on Wednesday to find out more about that one. And then we have also got Misquoted, a fun, educational, and sometimes raunchy fill-in-the-blank card game showcasing the men and women who helped shape our world. And there is a family-friendly option, so make sure you check them out on the Kickstarters. And yeah, Misquoted. It's going through the 23rd of January. It sounds pretty fun. It's a next generation card games. So check it out and see if it's something that you'd be interested in. And then now it's on to some Squatch.
Hey, it's Jake here with the Squatch team. We just launched our brand new board game on Kickstarter. It combines a lot of skill with a little luck to create the most unique board game you will ever play. Visit Kickstarter.com and type Squatch in the search bar to find us.
Just a reminder, if you're still listening, make sure you go and check out the Kickstarter that we talked about today. But it is definitely worth checking out so you can see what they're doing. And you can play as Robin Hood and his merry men, or you can be your own characters. You can also use magic, or you can play without magic. Check it out on the Kickstarters and tell them that we sent you over from, tell Jonathan we sent you. And anyways, we hope this has been a fun-filled week. We hope you have a better 2018 than you had a 2017. And we will once again, you know it, catch you all on the flip side. This is Gamer Leaf. Gamer Leaf out.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.